As part of the HIP framework, we focus on performance measures, health and wealth, and earth inequality, and how those drive profit, many times positively, sometimes negatively. So a negative example might be cigarettes. So Philip Morris and Altria make a lot of money. Actually, Altria and ExxonMobil are two of the major holdings in a large bank social enterprise fund. Seems, I haven't yet talked to the manager to understand how they're sustainable, but they're at least being included for financial return. So if you were Philip Morris, what business are you in if you think about the outcome that you're trying to provide for a user? Anybody? Maybe stress reduction? Indulgence, coping. So then the question would be, do you need to be in producing toxic-laden paper wrapped around toxically treated tobacco to generate indulgence and relaxation? Obviously, when you run a multi-billion-dollar company, you need to think creatively about that, but that's the type of breakthrough thinking that we're looking for. So in order to get there, we have found that there's at least 5 categories of management systems that are present in the companies that are starting to do this and to do this successfully. Large companies like General Electric, pockets of Walmart, pockets of Starbucks and McDonald's, but also smaller mid-sized companies like Interface, which makes building products and materials. And they started in the mid-90s to be sustainable, and they're targeted to be completely sustainable by 2020. AMD, the chip maker company, is seeking to serve 50% of the world's population with internet access by 2015. Does that seem achievable? 3 billion people? Another 2 billion people have to come online in 8 years. Will all of that be responsible from AMD? But this is the type of vision that the board and executives of AMD have put out to stretch their engineers' thinking. So as you move through, then obviously once you have a vision, you need to put in place some results-based performance measures, some outcome measures. They need to drive the financials. It does need to be profitable. It needs to drive market value. You need to fulfill the profit imperative today. And that the accountability rolls starting at the board all the way to the front line. So if you are the president of one of the business units at General Electric, Jeff Immelt is holding you accountable for greenhouse gas targets this year. So in the late 90s, when GE adapted, in addition to hitting financial performance, you had to live by the values. And if you didn't live by the values, you were exited out of the company. There's now the process in place where if you don't deliver on your environmental goals, you won't advance within General Electric. So these are changes happening today in large institutions. And then as you approve a new business case or design a new product, what are the criteria by which you judge them when you're doing that? And so these practices need to be in place. And so this is a chart which is in the middle of the handout that we did for Fast Company in the month of April, and where we rated 21 public companies, of many of which you would know. And so what we see here is that the practices some are very good, some are actually very progressive. United Technologies and Herman Miller have great practices, but there appears to be a lag as to how they generate sustainable revenue. And so the question is, how will this evolve over time? Do you need to put practices in place and then ramp up, or can you ramp up fast to results without practices? This is emerging. We don't have the exact answer yet. But somebody like Walgreens builds the human impact goals into their business. They target medically underserved areas. So for many low-income people, Walgreens is the medical provider of choice. And when they do that, they're able to buy in at a lower real estate cost. They then operate 24/7 operations, increasing access to health care. And then other businesses move in around that as an economic base, and the value of Walgreens property rises as well. So it's a virtuous circle. When you solve a human problem, like access to health care, and Walgreens now you can bring your ink cartridges in to get refilled, and thereby eliminate sending them back to somebody or throwing them out. So this is what's happening now. And this is the first annual HIP scorecard. The second annual will be later this year, and we're looking forward to doing that. So I'll turn it over to Brett, and here you go.